It's strange because Bernie and I have been such close friends for years, and he was oh shit, sorry.
Okay, that was good. That was good. Just start again, okay?
Okay.
Go ahead, action.
Is this kind of like the blooper tape that you're talking about? Hey, you people!
You should get Sky. Is there Sky up there?
Yeah.
Okay, ooh, there, ooh. There's a bottom fish.
That's a good one. That'll work.
Oh.
Action.
Hey, babe.
Did you see his left hand? Aren't you not married in this movie?
Yes, I am not married in this movie.
Think of it.
You know I love just eating buns.
You know what I like to do? I like chewing on them and then spitting them out. To me, that's the way to go.
And Bernie's an odd sort. He just likes the sesame seeds. He doesn't like the buns.
I never did meet her. It's strange. Bernie and I have been such close friends for years. I'm really sorry. Such close friends. Oh, and he usually tells me everything.
Yeah.
He usually tells me everything.
Hold it. Cut. You're not locking the door. Okay? Okay.
I want to let you know I'm okay. I'm home. I'm supposed to shut the door.
Yeah. When you have an interspecies relationship, what you often find is a fundamental, if not incongruent thread of an almost disconsolate misunderstanding.
You're speaking too fast.
I knew I was, and I could see you looking at me thinking that.
Do what?
And her big boobs were spread across the fish tank. Okay. I can see. When you, okay. And action.
I'm not ready at all.
Okay. When you have an interspecies relationship, what you often find is a fundamental, if not incongruent thread of an almost disconsolate misunderstanding. Shit. Oh, really? Say, oh. I guess not. The passive player then becomes ensconced in an internal give and take. God, I can see Tim laughing. That's my problem.
I'm sorry. I'm going to get out of the way then.
The passive player then becomes ensconced in an internal give and take. When you have an interspecies relationship, what you often find is a fundamental, if not incongruent thread of an almost disconsolate misunderstanding. The passive player then becomes... I can't
Don't do it.
Action.
So how was your day?
Fine.
Good. Everything went well at the office today?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Would you like a little wine?
Sure.
Good. Oh, yeah, a little there. A little there.
Action.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Action. Action! Action. Action? Hello? Action! Tim's fell into a grave. Where the fuck is he? Oh, there he is. I never thought things could get this complicated. Forgot that too. Okay. Sorry, one more time. When you have an interspecies relationship, what you often find is a fundamental, if not incongruent thread of an almost disconsolate misunderstanding. The passive player then becomes ensconced in an interminable give and take situation. The consequent juxtaposition of expectations versus ideals unfailingly leads to a path of self-destruction and bitter de-empathy. It's a real lose-lose. Lots of bugs here. Stop it. Okay. So this is the site in 1994 where we filmed A Letter to Wendy Gazelle. Tim sat here, and we're looking off at West Burnside down the hill, and Beaverton out that way. It's a beautiful night. It's a beautiful spot. In 1994, I kept driving by this cemetery and thinking, what a great place to film a movie. Welcome to the director's commentary. These do look a little janky, I'd say, 30 years later. I literally had to cut and paste old school style onto old male So definitely not very high tech. I was trying to match the envelopes to the music, and I like the little tune I'd made using the iconic shakuhachi flute style patch on a Roland sound module. I like the little ditty, so I didn't want to, alter the timing, so it went a little long probably for such a short movie. All done on a Fostex cassette 4-track. So, doesn't sound too bad though, considering.
I never thought things could get this complicated.
We shot this in one day, July 30th, 1994 to be exact, using Tim's Sony Hi8 camera. I had made storyboards for the shots I wanted, and we had a pretty tight filming schedule, crew of 5, racing around the city. And my idea was to keep shots very simple, minimize panning like this, minimize handheld shots, no zooming. I thought those are kind of the hallmark of bad camcorder movies. And even though this is sort of a cheesy homemade camcorder movie, I at least was striving for something a little better. And sound was problematic then. Running mic cords or powering a mixer on location, wind noise, those were all big problems. So we went with the voiceover format to minimize that kind of thing. And I used tripod shots and still compositions. There's Chris doing a fantastic job as Professor Fox. Ugh, nowadays I'd pay more attention to my camera level and my horizon. I made all my own props, including this letter, which is the script handwritten for close-up purposes.
Remember when you visited last year?
I also made cups that said Latimerias. Latimeria is a rare genus of fish, keeping with the theme. These outdoor shots were under a red umbrella, which in retrospect was a poor choice. They're very red, Steven Soderbergh on steroids. Filmed at the now defunct Carnival restaurant. This is where Tim, Erica, and I met when we worked there in the late 80s. I called up our old boss Ralph and said, hey, can we borrow the restaurant for an hour or two? And he was totally cool with that.
Her name was Marietta, but she went by Mari.
Not sure if Erica or Tim had ever acted before, but they both did, amazing. Erica nailed this in 3 takes. Impressive. Less impressive is my hokey, homemade lighting rig, quote-unquote. You can see in this cutaway. It's incandescent work lights and scrims made from tracing paper, which everything took on a very yellow glow that I had to fix in the post-production for the new edit.
Her full name was Marietta Beasley.
So we show up at the Petco in Tigard, and we asked them, hey, can we film here? And they said no. So we filmed there anyway, outside in the parking lot. And then serendipitously came across these empty fish boxes, and Tim improvised a great scene here.
Different. She was a fish.
It was closing time, and we were sending Tim in to do the walking out of the store shot, as we see Erica reacting nicely here. But the guy was literally closing the doors for the night, and he looks at Tim in another serendipitous moment.
Restaurants, movies, coffee houses, parties, going swimming and hiking.
It's the Markham Hill Nature Trail. Love that squirt. Originally had a sex scene, but it was really dark and grainy and not very funny. So in the new edit, I subbed in Tim's face behind the bowl. This is Dittler's Beach on the Columbia. It's a beautiful day with perfectly blue skies. Tim's wearing my straw hat, and I love this shot, the seagulls in the background. And the hat blowing off was completely unplanned. When you have an interspecies relationship, what you often find... I can still recite this word for word 30 years later, although it took me 9 takes at the time because I kept cracking up every time I pulled the glasses off. It's logical, though. It does track. I did say unflailingly for some reason instead of unfailingly, but it's all over the top anyway, like the hairdo, which is my real hair.
I knew from the start it wouldn't last.
The entire script is an extended riff on aquatic themes and fish puns, things like Egyptian suckerfish, swimming in denial, schoolbook charm. Even the name Mari is derived from the Latin mar, meaning sea. And all the people have animal names: Gazelle, Cricket, Fox, Lions, even Wolfgang, the unseen waiter at Latimeria's. Erica would name her child Wolfgang a few years later. Weird coincidence. Can you spot Christina in the background of this shot? She's there on the brown couch, napping. It was the end of a very long day of shooting, and I think she was pretty exhausted.
It was a warm evening at the end of a long summer day.
This was shot at the Sterling Point Apartments, where Christina and I were living at the time, in Beaverton. We shot out of sequence. A couple of things we added at a later date because I didn't have enough footage, close-ups and things. But Tim walking out and pausing like this was the very first thing we shot for the entire film. Watching this 30 years later, and I'm struck at how great Tim is. He's a really good actor. I still have that fish food box prop somewhere. But yeah, Tim can act. He rarely took more than 1 or 2 takes to get a scene down. His nonverbal expressions were spot on. His physical acting is great. I love how he slumps down when he learns that Mari is gone. Of course, the joke here is that she committed suicide by overfeeding on fish food. Not sure if that was too subtle or not.
You know what's incredible? For so long,
This is the Mount Calvary Cemetery above West Burnside. It's one of the reasons I made the film. I had been commuting to Southwest Portland from Beaverton and taking different routes and driving around, and I noticed the cemetery had these beautiful vistas and rolling hills, and I thought, that'd be a really great place to film a movie. I thought back to my song I had written, Go Fish, a couple years before that, and one thing led to another, and I started daydreaming about ways to make this film. It actually took 2 years to finish, not because it took that long, but because life got in the way. Got married, we moved, and I didn't have any access to editing equipment. So we eventually were able to borrow a Sony desktop system from Current Communications through Tim's contacts and got it edited. And we took it to a guy named Mike Spicer, who had a computer desktop system, which was very rare and unaffordable for me at the time. But he added the letterbox effect and the titles that I'd wanted to put in to make it look like a movie, more film looking. So in the 2 years, I was able to polish the script a bit. And when we did the voiceover, we added in the tartar sauce joke, which still makes me laugh to this day. The other line in this scene that's great is, still, I can't eat seafood, which might have made a better last line of the movie, but we sort of went with this, finish the letter, and then walk off into the sunset with that dramatic underscore. And honestly, this shot of Tim walking across the horizon is wonderful. I think it's the best shot of the movie. Eventually, we screened it at our Lads Edition rental house in 1996, in front of a large group of friends and family. And this got a huge round of applause and laughter. It was the perfect pun, borrowed from many a French film. You'll note there's some fun credits. When we were doing the voiceovers and the post-production, Ted Kaczynski had just been arrested, so we put in a little funny blurb about Montana guy fashions. And Marietta's real name, Lynn L. Flansburgh, is a nod to the band They Might Be Giants, comprised of John Linnell and John Flansburgh. It's true, no animals were harmed. Lynn died of natural causes, probably about 2 months after the filming. I'd have to say this was one of the best days of my life, no lie. I was 27, it was 1994, beautiful summer day, hanging out with friends, being creative, laughing the entire time. There are no friends like old friends. Thanks for watching.